Hello everyone, this is Fish's Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about the prequel trilogy. Fun fact, I already recorded this video once, but I deleted the file because that's just what I do. So, let's get started. Plot. Now usually I talk about the plot in depth. I give like a whole plot summary and then I give my thoughts on it. I'm not gonna do that because this is 3 movies, not one. I'm not willing to sit here and waste my time, or not really waste my time because I don't really have anything better to do with my time, but I'm not gonna waste your time talking about all of these movies, and I'm not gonna spend like an hour doing it because if I talked about them all, we'd be here for an hour. But let's start with the plots. I'm giving this a 17 out of 20. A lot of these movies, not a lot of these, all these movies have some problems with the plot, but overall I think they're pretty good. So let's just talk about the problems I see with the plots in, not in depth. I'll give a rundown on each one, but specifically, episode 1. I feel like this movie it's really boring. There's nothing to look forward. There is something to look forward to. I guess the final fight is pretty fun to watch. But there's nothing. It's a boring movie to watch. The only fun thing is, pod race, and that's like right in the middle of the movie. You have to watch like an hour before you get to that point, and then the next hour after that is you're just stuck there watching Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan walk from this point on Naboo to this point on Naboo, and then they fight Maul and he just dies despite being like somewhat cool. They just kill him off like immediately. I'm so glad Clone Wars exists so that they could give him like something, because it's just boring to watch. If there was something good, not something good, if there was something more to this movie, like some kind of outside, or there is a conflict in this movie, but it's so boring, it's confusing, and it's like watching politics, but they don't have any effect on you, so you're not worried. When you watch the presidential race, especially this year, 2020 is a presidential race. When we were watching that, we were hooked, and I think that was the general idea behind the politics of this prequel trilogy. But the thing about politics, the reason why we get so hooked on them when we're watching them, is that these things directly affect us. Politics to watch in a movie aren't fun unless they happened in the past or they're on a present movement. But the issues with the Star Wars universe or whatever, I don't really want to hear that kind of political stuff unless it's I guess an allegory for present day time, which I don't think any of the political issues in Star Wars were. I think they were just there for the sake of being there. And some people might try to make arguments about how the separatists are representing communists, or how the Galactic Republic is supposed to represent authoritarianism or whatever, but George Lucas wasn't thinking about that when he made these movies, right? So yeah, plot 17 out of 20. I forgot the other 2 movies. I'm sorry, I'm not used to doing trilogies. It's my first one, so of course I'm not used to it. Episode 2, it's better, I'll give it that, but it's just it has the same problem with episode 1 in that it's boring. It's like a fetch quest. You're watching Obi-Wan go around and tracking this mystery, but like, what exactly is he tracking? And then they just forget about it at the end of the movie. I mean, there are some cool things in the movie too, like Padme's like death threats and and whatnot. But like, even then, wasn't that great because the threats were neutralized relatively quickly. And by the end of the movie, we're like, well, what was the big deal, right? And the most problematic thing in this movie is the Anakin Padme relationship. This was not good. George, you need to learn how to write dialogue, man. You need to. And yeah, continuing on that note, episode 3, it's the best one. I think it's an actually good movie, but like, there are still problems with it. Anakin just turns to the dark side, like in the like this. It just happens, like he just turns like that. And I get that he was feeling desperate. And I get that that he was feeling desperate, and he needed to save Padme's life. But like, could they not have done a bit more to like establish this? Could they have not? Because really the only things we get are, the only thing we got at all was Anakin murdering sand people, and that's not really a great indication of him turning to the dark side. I mean, Mace Windu fucking beheaded a dude at the end of episode 2, so you tell me what was the big deal, right? And those people murdered his mom, so like, and I'm glad Clone Wars TV show exists because because it really does fill in the holes, the problems with the prequel trilogy. On watching it again, you're like, oh, this is so much better because there's like so much stuff that's now here that makes it better, right? And without that, these movies kind of fall short for me. So yeah, plot 17 out of 20. Pretty decent, but like still problems. Now let's get to characters. I'm only going to talk about 3. I usually only talk about 3. Obi-Wan is definitely the star of the show. He's charming, he's wise and witty. He's an actual character. I love seeing him on screen. I love we're getting a series with him. I love his character, and he's the star of the show, even though he really shouldn't be. The actual star of the show, Anakin, kind of sucks. Anakin is really, he's only good at one thing, which is fighting, and everything else he's kind of just like, he's kind of just, I don't know how to say it, because the movies try to make him out to be like this great strategic master, which he was, but like anything but that, he really failed at. Which I guess is supposed to be like a testament to like how emotionally stunted the Jedi are. But at the same time, I mean, like, have you met Obi-Wan? I mean, that guy is a Chad. How is Anakin, man, that guy was Obi-Wan is basically your older brother. How are you what happened to you, man? Like, and then the third character. Oh, I almost forgot this thing with Anakin. His turn to the dark side. That is something, like, if it had been established a bit better, I would have liked Anakin's character a lot more. Because I do like when they did have him turn to the dark side. It made a lot of sense, right? Like, the Jedi are basically monks but they're like unhealthily. Well, monks in real life are unhealthy as well, in the sense like they're so emotionally stunted. Anakin, he's never been able to address these feelings, and he's just like, I feel like he's perpetually stuck at the I don't know exactly how to describe this, but basically Anakin got really messed up by the Jedi, and I think that was part of the point George was trying to make. The Jedi were not good, but neither are the Sith. There's not really a good side. Well, that's dumb. That's stupid. I don't know why I said that. There is definitely a good side, but like, they're not that great either, you know? Like, sure, the US government is bad, but it's better than living in North Korea. It's I guess the most decent allegory I can give, but like, basically that is what I feel like George is trying to say about the Jedi and the Sith. Jedi have problems, like big ones, but like the Sith are literally like galaxy conquering enslavers, you know? Like, there's definitely a good side and a bad side. There's definitely a good and a bad side, okay? Okay, and the last character I want to talk about, Padme. I don't like her. She's bad. She's flat, she's boring, and there's nothing interesting about her. She only serves one purpose, which is to be Anakin's love interest, and I guess she fulfills it, but that's not really a good thing. They could have gotten any female to be Anakin's love interest. I would have believed it more than Padme, because Kristen and Natalie Portman have no chemistry at all. I mean, that was clear from the moment Anakin said, "Do you like?" He said, the moment he said, "I don't like sand," and I mean, dude, I don't. Is that like? It can't be that different in space, right? Like you can't. That it doesn't. It confuses me to such a degree I can't even speak about it without stuttering. So I'm not going to speak about it because it sort of infuriates me. Characters, 15 out of 20. Okay. Execution. This is the one where the movie really misses a lot of points. Like, for the reason I described before, this movie does not these movies aren't executed very well, but they're executed decently enough to where I can give them an 18 out of 30, which is the best I can give them. Aesthetic, these are visually pleasing movies. It's not as important as the other bulletin points, but like, yeah, they're nice to look at. 10 out of 10. Soul, scale 1 to 20. Now this one, I do actually think George was onto something here. You know, like, he really did want to make these movies. He really did have some good ideas for these movies. And maybe if he wasn't so bad at writing dialogue, and maybe if someone had come up to him and told him to, maybe if someone had proofread his scripts a bit better before he started directing these films, maybe then could we have gotten good movies. But I do think George put a lot of soul and effort. He put a lot of passion into these projects, because, you know, like the sequel trilogy, the one thing that really annoys me at the sequel trilogy, they're basically rehashes, down to Palpatine being the main villain. You know, they're literally almost the exact same movies. The only redeeming thing is Last Jedi, and I know people are really split on that movie, but I do like The Last Jedi. I like the movie. I like that it tries something different, and I think it did it well. Okay, and I get that expectation subversion is kind of dumb, but that's beside the point. I'm not here to talk about that. But I appreciate the prequel trilogy tried something different. I appreciate that we didn't have like another galactic empire to fight against or whatever, because George actually wanted to tell a coherent story. Because like it or not, the prequels do make sense. You know, when you connect them to the original trilogy, they make sense because they were made with the original trilogy in mind, which I like. The sequel trilogy doesn't have that. And I have to commend George for actually taking a bold step and trying something new. So George, you did a good job. 20 out of 20. So yeah, that's 30. Okay, so that's 30, 48, 58, 63, and then plot was a 17, 7, 80. This movie gets an 8. Wow, 80 out of 100. That is better than I was expecting, to be honest. But yeah, 80 out of 100. That's not bad. That's pretty good, to be honest. Honestly, I don't feel like that's what these movies should be ranked at. Objectively, these movies should be a lot worse. At least 75 or 65 out of 100. But because I do like these movies quite a bit, I like them because they're fucking hilarious, and I think they have some good ideas. I'll give them the dub. They'll keep an 80. So yeah, that was the review of Prequel Trilogy. You should watch it. It's funny. If you think they're bad, it'll at least be funny to watch with your friends. You can laugh at all the absurd shit. You know, when you get to the I killed the sand woman and the sand children too, you can all burst out laughing, because that's what I did when I got to that scene. I heard him say I killed the woman and the children too, and I started guffawing because it was fucking hilarious, even though it clearly wasn't supposed to be, but somehow it was. Because I don't know, maybe telling your girlfriend that you murdered a whole family wasn't a good idea, but he did. He went over to his girlfriend and was like, "Hey babe, just came home, murdered a family today. How's your day? Making any new laws? That's great. I'm gonna go commit war crimes now." Anakin Skywalker's character in a nutshell, folks. Anyways, now that the review's over, I'd like to talk to you guys. If you guys want any, if you want to suggest any movies for me to review, I'm open to anything. Just send me. I'll link my Instagram below. Just send me a DM on there, or if you want, you can comment down below in this video what you'd like to see. Again, I'm open to anything, and I really appreciate your feedback. If there's something wrong with this video or you disagree, just keep in mind, as always, this is my opinion. You could love the trilogy, you can hate the trilogy. Just know that I personally don't care that much. I'm sorry to say it, I don't really. Your opinion might be different from mine, but that's fine. We all have different opinions. Anyways, that's all for me today, folks. Thanks for watching this video.